Hello there, future humans. This is Zai'vyy Coach, and today we're talking about some Zai'vyy sightings. Now, for those who've been following for a while, you'll know that the Zai'vyy are one of the mojo categories that we have had the least amount of samples from pop culture at large. The females less so than the males even, but both of them not a lot. But we've had some interesting sightings recently. So Zai'vyy and I have been exploring Portland, and one of the places we went to was the Japanese Gardens. Now we went there. There was, well, it was a little bit of chilly weather, which is great for us. We like that. But there was not as many people there as probably are normally there during warmer times, and so I'm not sure how that affects things. But when we were there, we were spotting lots and lots of Zai'vyy, and I'd say that they were roughly 40 to 60% of the people there, which was quite amazing. Some things that we noticed was, well, all of the people that were there who were Zai'vyy, which was a lot of them, that there was quite a few of them who had nice looking cameras. So I think quite a few of them may have some photography, either careers or significant hobbies. The cameras looked nice. And there was a direct correlation to, if you saw them with the cameras, the chances it was going to be one of the Zai'vyy went up noticeably. What else? Most of them, well, there were some who were single and some who were couples, and it was mainly Zai'vyy all around. In some of the couples, there were some Zai'vyy, but this was less common. It was more common for a Zai'vyy by themselves, male or female, or a double Zai'vyy couple. There was quite a few of those, and then there were a few Zai'vyy with Zai'vyy, but that was mainly Zai'vyy ladies with Zai'vyy males. So interesting, not quite sure why that is the case, that there was less Zai'vyy males there, although there was less Zai'vyy all around. What else? There were also plenty of them who didn't have cameras and weren't doing that kind of thing, but one thing I noticed is that they were standing more so than, say, the other people who were not Zai'vyy, and they were staring and pointing at various nice aesthetic put-togethers that were there, things that were interesting architecturally, interior design, and so forth, and they were kind of staring and pointing at it for lengthier periods of time than other people. Other people would kind of like look at the cool sand drawings, or look at the cool where they organize their landscaping, which is really beautiful and meticulous, very, very artful. But they would stay and kind of stare and point at it and talk about it more than the other people were. Anyway, this has got me excited once I get through several of the major kind of mainstream bubbles in pop culture, is getting more and more into vlogging. I'm getting more and more excited about doing screen capture as a way to get the images rather than Google Images, just taking them directly off of the YouTube, for example. But more and more people are doing it with HD. So there's more HD use than there was a few years ago, and HD video is good for getting nice still shots. So anyway, I'm wondering if photography and interior design, those are things that don't have a lot of samples that are like known in mainstream pop culture, but I'm thinking those are very large career fields, so probably in the vlogger sphere there might be more going on there. So very, very excited about that. We saw another thing similar to this. I forget where we were. We were looking at now I forget, my memory's lousy, but we were going to another kind of scenic place, and again we saw the same thing. Oh, it was the zoo. No. Yes, it was the Japanese Gardens and the zoo. We went to the zoo, and the same thing. The weather was a little grayer, so it was not as populated as it probably is during the warm months. But again, about 40 to maybe 60% of them were Zai'vyy. And again, a heaviness with the cameras. And if you saw the nice cameras, the chance it was a Zai'vyy went up. And again, Zai'vyy male and female by themselves, and double Zai'vyy couples and Zai'vyy couples, but again with usually that being a female Zai'vyy with a male Zai'vyy. Not many male Zai'vyy were we seeing there, and we didn't see like any double Zai'vyy. It was all Zai'vyy doubles. Double Zai'vyy was the most common, and then by themselves or with a Zai'vyy was the other thing. And what else? Oh, we did notice it actually on some of the animal exhibits. They would have little videos playing, and there was not a lot of them, maybe like a handful, but they were Zai'vyy. Like the hawking guy, and the person was going on about the gophers, and the person was talking about, I forget which bird it was, but it got in danger and they saved it, and they were Zai'vyy. So animal handling. I know there's a guy, Jack Hanna, he's a Zai'vyy. I thought maybe he was more of an outlier, because in the animal thing we had not a lot, but probably more Vijay males was who it was. But here, these like experts on a given animal and kind of breaking it all down, they were mainly Zai'vyy. So something else to look into is the animal world, but maybe animal nature, but maybe there's a certain focus. Obviously photography, but this was more like very specialized education, really breaking down like the principles and what makes this animal what it is, and the challenges it faces, and so on. So 3 areas to get into in the vlogging. Also, getting ready for the upcoming Winter Olympics. There's been a lot of competitions of winter sports that will be showing up in the Olympics, kind of getting a precursor of what you can expect. And there's a lot of Zai'vyy in the different racing things, but ski jumping. And ski jumping is a very strong Zai'vyy presence. So again, not quite sure what causes that, but that's definitely a thing. And ice skating. And that actually threw me, because I thought there would be more Zhez in there, but actually some of the more famous people are Zhez, but actually a lot of the famous people are also Zai'vyy, and just deeper into the ranks there seems to be more Zai'vyy. And again, we see in the singles Zai'vyy, but then in the pairs there's a lot of Zai'vyy as well. Overwhelmingly is the majority there. And they don't tend to be paired with, say, like a Zai'vyy or something. They're usually paired with another Zai'vyy or a Vizai. Sometimes double Vizai, but double Zai'vyy is the most common. And next after that, I would say, is male Zai'vyy with a female Vizai partner. Those are quite common. Yeah, so those are some more areas to look into. Very, very exciting to get this many avenues to approach. On a this one only have one example, but it got me very, very excited, which is there was a female Zai'vyy sample. I forget her name, but we are looking at her to make sure she was a Zai'vyy and not, say, a Zenai, because she had a really good interpretive, Nez activation on her palette. And she was doing this sit down with a guy, I believe he was a Zai'vyy, and he was like an expert on wine tasting. And it was really neat to see, because she was taking in what he was doing, and he was really appreciating his expertise in this field. And he was like breaking down the layers of things really, really well. Makes me wonder, well, let me think. That's a sense of taste. And then there's the photography, which is like sight. And I'm wondering if there's anything else where it might be like sensory stuff, where you have to like do fine weighings of things. I think there might be something to that. I'm not sure yet how to make that into a larger career demographic push, but I'm mulling on it. What might that be? Well, definitely wine tasting. That's again kind of a niche thing that mainstream like cable television and so forth. There's not a lot to that, but I'm thinking there might be a community of that amongst vloggers. Wine tasting for vlogging, and it doesn't matter how famous they are, as long as they're there and they're using HD, then we are in the money. All right, that's all for now. Just thought I'd give a little heads up on that, something we've been seeing, so some exciting avenues to pursue. And right now I am getting ready, gathering lots and lots of samples, preparing for the Winter Olympics. So a lot of work to do, but it's very, very fun. And I think we're gonna get a lot in the practicals that we didn't have as far as samples before. So yay, go Olympics. All right, Olympic fever on its way, so look for that coming soon.